Welcome back, NoDQ Galaxy, to a brand new NoDQ review. We're on number 52, and I am Virtue, being joined by Aaron Rift, TJS, and Big South Park G. What's up, Big G?
Not much. Just another evening, ready to discuss some more wrestling with the elite team of NoDQ Review. And TJS, how are you doing, buddy?
I was working on some C# homework before I came on, and I have a huge migraine. Just like, I have double the migraine. WWE gave me one tonight with their booking. But hopefully this will remedy it. We get to do some ranting. I'm looking forward to that. How's it going, Aaron?
I'm doing very well, thank you. And I'm just wondering, should I start shortening your guys' names? Big G, your name's already short as it is. I guess we could just call you G now. TGS, you could just be T. And Virtue, you can just be Virch.
What are you going to be, Braun now?
Sure.
Ron Rift. I don't know.
Well, as we're doing this, I get a private message from Josh Mansfield saying, "Where are my 2 shirts? Because Kofi is going to WrestleMania to wrestle Daniel Bryan one-on-one. So, Josh, if you're watching this, you will not get him until after Mania because card subject to change, Kofi could get hurt. So, anyway, let's just kick off with that. We finally have the fallout for the WWE title match at WrestleMania after weeks and weeks and weeks of Kofi Mania and all the different swerves by Vince McMahon. It finally happened, and Kofi Kingston, because of his New Day brethren, however you say that, won him his spot. I just think that was convoluted. Aaron, looking back at all of this, I think you were right. Kofi should have just won the title at Elimination Chamber during Black History Month, and Bryan should have challenged him back for it. Because I don't like the path this took. What's your take on this now that it's official? And we knew it was official because of the leak.
Right. Well, yeah, that's one thing. I feel like it could have been done better. Definitely could have been done better. I think that it might still mean something to people if Kofi wins the title at WrestleMania, but how much is it really going to mean in the middle of the show, 4 hours into WrestleMania? Maybe it will mean something. Maybe it's going to be this huge, memorable WrestleMania moment that gets a ton of publicity. First ever full black WWE champion. But yeah, I think they should have just gone with it, called an audible last month, and have Bryan challenge him at WrestleMania. I think I would have liked that a lot more. And I'm still, the whole thing with Vince being against Kofi just doesn't make sense to me at all. I feel like it would have been a nice swerve to have Xavier Woods and Big E turn heel against Bryan and reveal that they were in Vince's ear all along and they were conspiring with Vince, telling Vince, hey, Kofi's going to drop the ball. He's not championship material, because they were jealous of him. I would have liked that storyline. And then Bryan could have retained the title at WrestleMania. Now I think that's all out the window. I don't think we're going to see that heel turn after all that crap, unless it is truly out of the Vince Russo playbook where they do a swerve that makes no sense whatsoever. Virch?
So during this time, if you look at it realistically, friends are friends, right? Why wouldn't Big E and Xavier Woods have at least said, well, we want a shot too? That's really, and I would have liked to have seen Vince force them in a triple threat. And then, hey, the winner gets to face Daniel Bryan, because at least we would have got some, Big E might have said, oh, well, now I got an opportunity in Xavier Woods. And it just doesn't make sense. You do that to win that title, right? Or the Universal title. And here you're just trying to get your buddy into that spot. I hope something happens. Well, I hope Big E turns heel. I don't care, something.
I don't think it's going to happen now. And prior to today, I was thinking about going with Bryan to retain at WrestleMania and predicting that scenario. But now, I mean, this is a spoiler alert. I'm going with Kofi Kingston to win the WWE title. They're going to go for the feel-good moment. New Day's going to celebrate. No heel turn. New Day might win the tag team championships at some point, and then New Day holds all the titles. I don't know. TJS, what do you think?
Well, I still do not believe that Kofi's winning the title. I don't see it happening, and I really did not like the way that he won, or he earned his opportunity. it didn't make much sense for Vince to be like, okay, you have lost all your matches, but we're going to give your buddies the chance to earn your way into WrestleMania. Like, it was just really confusing and convoluted and lazy, quite frankly, because of the gauntlet match booking. Like, come on. We already got, this is like the third gauntlet match we've seen this year. I get that it's a tag team one, but geez. And I know, and then there was no swerve at the end with the Vince. He wasn't just like, he didn't say, no, Kofi's not going to WrestleMania. He's like, yeah, he's going. I don't understand why Kofi just couldn't have won the gauntlet match last week. It doesn't make any sense for, I don't know. The only good thing I can say about this is that the New Day didn't pin Rowan or Bryan. They did the count-out finish, which it's just like a cheap cop-out, I feel like, because Kofi beat 5 people last week, and now, I don't know. I'm just not a fan of it. Like, we knew Kofi was going to be in the match, but couldn't they have just saved it for next week or something, have Bryan and Rowan beat them, and then do like a walkout or something next week? I don't know.
But meanwhile, Big G, or not TGS, meanwhile, Daniel Bryan's been back active for 1 year, and he's the WWE champion, is a top heel. Yeah. We've had some people tweet us about that topic. So that, since we're talking Kofi and he's challenging Bryan, did you want to elaborate on Daniel Bryan's spot right now a little bit? Yeah. Off topic?
I'll talk about it. So when he was cleared to return, everyone was like, oh, he's back and this is going to be great. So let's face it, he was a little bit boring and stale, his character was. And 1 year ago, he was going into WrestleMania in a tag team match, partnered up with Shane McMahon, and now he's a WWE champion. Top heel, like you said, Virtue. This guy's getting tons of heat. I don't know if you guys heard how loud they were booing when he came out at the start of the show to interrupt Vince and New Day, but that was awesome. And I feel like he's really just doing the work of his career right now. He's changed up his in-ring style. He's a lot more aggressive. He does the stomps. And he's just really, last week when he was doing the yes chants before the knee, everyone was chanting no. Daniel Bryan's my favorite wrestler right now. His character is awesome, and his in-ring work is just awesome. And I don't want him to lose the title. I really don't. And that's a lot more than I could say for his 2013 run. I mean, it was a good little moment when he won the WWE title. But and he's really shown that if you give him the right character, this guy he's money. And one more thing that I like, since he's a heel, he doesn't wear his own merchandise. I think that's top-notch heel work right there. So I love it all around. G, what do you think, man?
Well, SmackDown, you had the gauntlet match for the tag team. Last week, you had it for Kofi. Like you said, TGS, why couldn't they just done it last week? I guess they just wanted it to build up even more. But I don't know if Kofi's going to win it at WrestleMania, especially if you're going to have Becky and Seth possibly winning their respective titles as well. And I mean, are you going to have all 3 titles change at WrestleMania and have 3 feel-good moments? I mean, it is a New York crowd, so, they're not going to not cheer. They're going to cheer regardless, if Kofi wins, if it's during the middle of the show or whatnot. But that's pretty much what I have to say about that.
Hey, it's one B-plus player. It's one B-plus player that finally moved up into the A-plus range, Daniel Bryan. And now Kofi took his spot. Aaron's pointed that out plenty of time. Yeah.
I think they're also overusing the B-plus player line. Like, come on, it was funny the first time, but they're saying it every week now. I'm just like, okay, that's enough.
Well, they want us to remember that Daniel Bryan was a B-plus player at one time, and now the roles are reversed. And like Virtue said, Bryan is an A-plus player now, and Kofi's the B-plus player.
There you have it. Hey, Aaron, I got your favorite topic we bring up every week. Triple H's career is now on the line, I guess, right? Yeah. So, first of all, he knew exactly what he was doing when somebody must have smartened him up to the Spice Girls thing. Because what do they want? They want people to capture the audio, put it to it's more advertising. So even though it's goofy, well done, Triple H. That's been the most entertaining thing out of this.
Oh, yeah.
But I'll tell you what, I mean, it kind of hyped me up a little bit for this match. I don't know why. I'm not a Spice Girls fan. TJS, what do you think, man? Triple H's career on the line. He's the baby face technically in this match. You think he's going to get out of it so we can see him for years to come at WrestleMania?
Yeah, Triple H ain't losing because he never beat Batista in the first place. So, I mean, I don't really understand why this stipulation is there, because were you guys going to predict Batista winning? I mean, or were you unsure?
I don't know yet. I'm going to wait. I still don't know.
Well, on SmackDown 1000, you had Batista say, like, oh, yeah, Triple H never beat me. And I feel like that's what Triple H is going to do now. He's just going to beat Batista so he can get his win back, because he's Triple H and I don't know, he just wants to keep wrestling. I don't see him hanging it up for like probably another 5 years at least. He'll probably still be doing his thing. I'm surprised he's even doing this match after that torn pectoral muscle. I wasn't expecting this to happen, but I guess he's giving Batista what he wants, giving him his last match, even though I think Batista is going to be doing the job, just like Triple H did the job to the envelope. So,
yeah.
Match is still, it needs the no holds barred stipulation to protect it. Don't think it's going to be that good, but we shall see. Aaron?
Well, I think that will make it a little bit more interesting because they can use the gimmicks to work around their limitations. They got the tables, the chairs. I'm sure they'll have the kendo sticks and all that stuff. So that'll help the match. Should be a little bit better with the stipulation attached to it. Interesting that we do have some stipulations for WrestleMania this year. Not just that match, but also Shane and The Miz will be a Falls Count Anywhere match, which means we might see Shane jump off of some high platform again and do something crazy. That should be interesting. So, yeah, I mean, I felt like this promo, like you said, Virtue, was the first time that I felt a little excited for this match now. It was the first time I felt like it elevated the match's stock instead of making me care less about it. So, good job, Triple H, and the bit with jobbing to the envelope was hilarious. So, yeah, to me, that was easily the highlight of Raw, as far as I'm concerned. Big G, anything else you would like to add to that?
I did like that promo too from Triple H. The only reason why I'm saying that Batista might win is that way Triple H can focus just more on the backstage stuff for NXT and just make that his main focus now. He's getting up in age, you know. I think he's pretty much done everything that he can in the WWE.
Except Batista.
Okay, except for Batista. And the funny thing is, Raw will be in DC for the go home show, and I don't think Batista's advertised for that. So, are we gonna get a brawl next week if Batista shows up? Is he not gonna show up? So, I'm in for that long haul, unfortunately. Other than that, you know, I'm kind of looking forward to this match now, and we'll see what happens.
All right,
that's
go ahead.
Hometown too. So we'll
yeah.
see.
And another thing is, you know, are they going to boo Batista in DC, you know? So we'll see. Unless he makes some, you know, heel kind of remarks, you know, like Miz used to do about Cleveland. So we'll see.
So speaking of matches that you may or may not want to see, how about the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, which probably will be on the kickoff show. But here's my problem. Why are first of all, when was the last time Saturday Night Live was good? I mean, Will Ferrell maybe, like back then, and I go way back. Eddie Murphy, Bill Murray.
Mr. Bill.
Right. That's right. So today, with television's different today, right? Streaming and this and that. SNL's still on. And the fact that WWE uses this as part of Strowman's gimmick. Strowman is getting crapped on again at Mania season. So, Big G, I'll start with you since I started with Aaron and TGS on the other one. I think this is ridiculous, and I tweeted when this segment was happening on Raw that Andre was quoting from heaven, "Please remove my name from Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal." What's your take on this? I mean, it's irritating.
This is so stupid. Andre the Giant Battle Royal was supposed to be this big thing back at WrestleMania 30 when Hulk Hogan introduced it. You had Cesaro win the very first one. It wasn't on the kickoff. And then I believe I think WrestleMania 31 and from then on, it was put on the kickoff, if I'm not mistaken.
It's really memorable, isn't it? You know what I mean?
Yeah. So anyways, but then you have, I think Strowman is the only one who's entered besides the Saturday Night Live guys that I'd never even heard of because I don't even watch Saturday Night Live anymore. I think the last time I watched it was with like Will Ferrell, Chris Kattan, Adam Sandler, Chris Farley, David Spade, all them guys, and a couple from, the late 70s, early 80s. But this is just going to be horrible, So, okay, what if Strowman does win this, is anybody going to remember this from a year? No. So I think this is pointless. They should just cut it out completely. And if you're not on the card, oh well, I guess you're not good enough to be on WrestleMania. That's all I got to say.
Aaron?
Well, I wrote on Twitter that I feel bad that Andre's name was attached to it, and somebody apparently got pretty angry with me because he quote retweeted me and said, "Why?" and "You're effing blocked for being an idiot," or something like that. So yeah, he wasn't happy about my comment. I guess he's a fan of it, so there you go. And a couple of people called me out saying you must like Trump because you're not a fan of Saturday Night Live, and I'm like, that has nothing to do with it. I just don't think they're funny. Now, I can't speak for the other people in this panel, but yeah, I just don't find them funny. It has nothing to do with politics. I just don't think they're funny.
Well, now hold on a second, Aaron. TGS, do you like Saturday Night Live in its current iteration?
No.
Yes or no?
No.
Right. That just solved everything.
The only person relevant on there.
If you know TJS and what he just said right there, then Aaron was proven right.
The only person relevant, I think, on Saturday Night Live right now is Kenan Thompson. That's because he's a big name.
The Nickelodeon.
Not Michael Che and whoever the fuck this other guy is. Pardon my French, but.
Oh, yeah, Aaron. It's poor Strowman. Just another crappy gimmick thing for him to worry about at Mania.
Well, let's be fair here. TGS wasn't even born when Saturday Night Live was maybe halfway decent, so there you go.
And neither was I, but.
Well, okay, TGS, what do you think, man?
Well, I just want you guys. Okay, so these Saturday Night Live guys are in the Battle Royal, right? Okay. I want you guys to remember last year John Cena saying that he could not get a match at WrestleMania. But these Saturday Night Live guys can enter this Battle Royal.
You know what this deserves? Where are you sitting? What are you sitting next to? Bravo.
That's the toilet flush of the night. We got to have this every week. The toilet flush of the evening on the NoDQ.
There goes Braun Strowman's career, it seems like. I feel like next year he's going to be the New Year's baby or something. I mean, he's the next Big Show, and I hate to say that because I've always been a huge Braun Strowman fan from the get-go. I thought this guy had star power. He had the catchphrase. He was over with the crowd. But he's thrown in the stupid Battle Royal that needs to be renamed. Just call it the Men's Battle Royal. Because that's what they did about the Women's Battle Royal. I think it was going to be the Fabulous Moolah Battle Royal or something.
Well, somebody said on Twitter that they should just rename it the Great Khali Battle Royal at this point.
You might as well.
I like and you guys don't think that one of these SNL guys are going to win, do you?
Might as well. Why not?
No, I mean, what Gronk did that 1 year. What Gronk did that 1 year, because he's a big football player that's been on multiple championship team. When he helped Mojo Rawley win, is that what happened? If I remember correctly. Yeah. Okay, because he wasn't in the match. These guys are going to be in the match,
right?
So,
non-trained wrestlers, let's start doing it
again. Now, Virtue, I got to ask you, though, wouldn't you find it entertaining if one of them won? Because I know you would get entertainment out of the internet fans being pissed off and being outraged over this.
Aaron, not in this level, because first of all, it's a battle royal, and second of all, I would rather see people within the wrestling bubble, like actual workers, maybe that other fans don't like, get opportunities, not actors that aren't really that popular in my opinion, you know, but again, who knows why WWE does their thing. I mean, it's crazy though. Linda's on Donald Trump's cabinet, and everyone knows SNL blasts Trump every second they can get, yet these guys are in Vince's company going to be on his big show.
Yeah.
So there's just a lot of weird stuff going on right there.
It's going to add more to Braun Strowman's like pointless resume. He won the greatest Royal Rumble. Remember that? Money in the Bank.
No,
stuff,
I don't.
Something that some stuff.
I don't. It's like some of the stuff like I try to like erase from my memory because it's like why have the greatest Royal Rumble match when you just get a big old trophy? Why do you have this best in the world tournament just to win a trophy?
Well, to be fair, pointless. The best in the world tournament at least led to a WrestleMania match. I'll say that much.
Yeah. Okay, I'll give it that. But
Aaron was trying to get me committal that I troll. Obviously, this proves that I don't troll, or I would be putting these guys being in the Battle Royal over, hoping they would win.
Yes.
When I say what's on my mind, it's because I think of Vince McMahon business, and it comes across to trolling because most fans don't like what Vince McMahon does.
Yep.
Anyway, good, quick discussion there. How about this?
$90 stock.
Hart Foundation, but just Brett and just Jim are in the Hall of Fame the same year that DX headlines, but it's not the same Hart Foundation, Aaron, because it's not the one with Pillman,
right.
Owen, of course, for obvious reasons, Bulldog. So what's your thoughts on this? Aaron, I'll start with you. I remember the original Hart Foundation with just the two, with some classic work against Demolition, against the British Bulldogs. Probably going way back, before TJS and Big G's time. I think this is good. It's really just to get Jim in, and of course to not have Owen in so Martha doesn't sue. What do you think?
Pretty much, yeah. I think that it's long overdue. Should have happened when Jim Neidhart was alive. I have a bad taste in my mouth the fact that they're doing this now that he's passed away. It should have been done years ago. Hart Foundation, they were one of the greatest WWE tag teams of the 1980s, so they deserve to go in. Should have happened a long time ago. I feel too many people are being inducted into the Hall of Fame, though. I mean, I feel like you have all these teams going in this year, especially with DX, Harlem Heat, Hart Foundation. It should just be one tag team a year, one singles act or two singles act, and then maybe a faction, and then call it a day. I think they're inducting too many people, in my own opinion.
Who's getting their second nods this year? So Brett, Sean,
and Booker.
Because the way they're doing it with groups and tag teams. Big G, what's your thoughts? Did you do some Hart Foundation research?
Yeah, I watched some of their matches on the network.
Oh, look at that yawn.
That's one.
Oh, he's got to count.
All right.
So, yeah, I watched some of their matches.
Put him down for two. I saw one earlier.
Okay.
All right.
So,
carry on.
I watched their matches on the network, which you can get for $9.99 a month. Yeah, it's kind of funny how, you got all this tag team going in this year because they're running out of people to put in. Like you said, Booker, Sean, and Brett are now two-time Hall of Famers. And I'm sure Brett's going to say, this one's for Owen, this one's for British Bulldog, this one's for Brian Pillman, just to give them their nod. And because we know Owen's possibly never going to go in the Hall of Fame by himself. And they're not going to put the Hart Foundation with all of them in there. So they figured might as well just do Brett and Anvil since Anvil passed last year. And, that's all I got to say. TJS.
I feel like if they did the faction Hart Foundation, it would be really sad because Bret Hart would be the only one alive out of the group besides Jimmy. And I don't know. I do agree with you guys, though. Jim Neidhart should have been in a long time ago, along with Bret as the Hart Foundation. And yeah, they are running out of people to put in, I feel like, because it's just team after team. We've got 3 teams going in, and they induct like 5 people every year, which is too much when you're doing this yearly. Maybe just do 3 a year, like you guys said. 1 man, 1 tag team, and then 1 woman, I guess. That would make the ceremony a lot shorter, too, because we know how long that thing goes.
But then maybe they couldn't justify selling the tickets to that because, you know what I mean? It'd be like an hour.
Yeah.
Who would want to even spend $25 for that? You know.
That's true. And I think that
almost 3. I say 2.5. Anyway, keep going.
They need to build a physical Hall of Fame already because I don't know, because I guess the only way you can find out who's in the Hall of Fame is whenever they say WWE Hall of Famer, or you look it up on Wikipedia or whatever. It's just, I think it's dumb and it doesn't mean much anymore. Besides, you just get the ring and you have to be in good graces with WWE, or let's face it, you're not going in the Hall of Fame. It doesn't matter how much you've done. If you get on Vince's bad side, you're going to be left out, which is stupid in my opinion.
You know what? Why can't they make a deal with like Universal Studios, California and Florida, and have like big, like a big ride or something that they can actually, people can go there to see, and then they wouldn't have to expense it so much. But I don't know. It's just an idea.
They're getting a new headquarters. Why don't they just make the old headquarters the Hall of Fame or something?
Well, I think they leased that though, so they might obviously if they don't own that. But nonetheless, I'm gonna try Mania Week, take the ride out to Stamford and do some selfies in front of the Titan Towers. So we'll see how that goes. All right, how about this topic? This one's for Caitlin, Aaron. The Bellas officially retired, I guess, from in-ring action. I think they were the last. Correct me if I'm wrong. If I'm missing someone. Were they kind of the last ones that were tied to the Diva era that maybe even overlapped into the Evolution, the Revolution?
Yeah.
And so I think because of that, this is significant. They weren't the best wrestlers in the world, right? They were, when they first came in, it was twins, twin fetishes. I mean, their looks, but they got a little bit better. Brie was always the better wrestler, especially early on. Nikki ended up improving, and I think they had a pretty good run, a pretty good career, and I'd even say they're going to definitely be future WWE Hall of Famers. So what's everyone's take on this? And in wrestling, does this mean they're actually done? Who wants to start? Eeny, meeny, miny, Aaron.
Okay, sure. I don't think that they're going to be 100% done because nobody really retires from wrestling. People always come back. I think they're done for now, but if there's an opportunity for them to come back, I think they will come back. Maybe Brie wants to have a second child. Who knows? Nikki's got her thing going on with that guy Artem from Dancing with the Stars. They're keeping busy with other things right now. They got their shows. They're still running Total Bellas and Total Divas. So they're keeping busy. They got their wine company, their Birdie Bee company. They're doing all sorts of things. But one day there might be an opportunity. If the tag team title situation calls for it, they might make a comeback. If the timing is right, they're in the right place at the right time, and the tag team champions need some star power challengers to face. The Bellas could just step right in and take that spot at a big pay-per-view.
Yeah, because they're what, Aaron, 30s?
35?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah.
Big G. And which one do you like better?
Man, I was always a fan of Brie Bella for some reason. I don't know why. Nothing against Nikki Bella, of course. They did have good careers. They both started off with the whole twin magic thing, and they had their feud back in 2014. I remember, was it 2014 or 15? I
14.
think, because 14. I remember that because I was at a Raw where they had Jerry Springer on there. Do you guys remember that vividly?
Yeah.
I just remember I Wish You Died in the Womb.
Yeah.
I think that was part of that episode. But then they came back, for the first women's pay-per-view Evolution, and they did that. Nikki had her match against Ronda, and now they're working on their Birdie Bee and, like you said, Aaron, their wine company, and Total Bellas, Total Divas. I think they're even doing a podcast now, I think. So
Yep.
They're pretty busy, and, Brie wants to be there for her child, since Daniel's back on the road. Nikki's finally in a relationship. Maybe she'll finally get married. Maybe she'll finally get that baby that she's always wanted that Cena couldn't give to her because he closed the door on her. Yeah, so, that's pretty much what I have to say about the Bellas. TJS, anything else?
I was laughing at the I Wish You Died in the Womb line. Like, geez, man. Who says that?
And what was bad
GP.
about it? What was bad about it was that was a big line, right? But then, like literally 2 months later, Brie got back with Nikki again, and they were together.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. The Bellas are the Bellas. I'm sure they'll be in the Hall of Fame next year, probably. Wouldn't shock me.
I wouldn't be surprised. It's in
they-
Florida.
Yeah, they'll go in super early. And I guess this explains why we didn't see them in the Royal Rumble this year. I guess that Nikki had been planning to retire for quite some time. But remember, Brie also was retired, and then she came out of retirement. So we'll see what happens. Like you guys said, I'm sure that they're not done. They'll probably be back. And I feel like at this rate, the women's tag team champions are running out of challengers already because they're facing 3 teams at WrestleMania. They could have stretched this out a little bit. I get that it's a multi-brand thing, but come on, man. I feel like Natalya and Beth Phoenix versus them would have been fine. But no. Yeah, the Bellas are Bellas, like you guys said. They're busy, whatever.
Who is your favorite Bella? Go ahead, TJS.
Oh, I think I like Brie more.
Okay. You, Virtue?
Nikki.
Okay. You, Aaron?
I always thought like Nikki was a little bit more attractive, but Brie, I like her personality more. So there you go.
Yeah. So.
What the hell was that, TJS?
Aaron definitely took the safe route there, but that's okay. This next topic is really near and dear to me because this goes out to Dave Meltzer, Wade Keller, Bruce Mitchell, and the list goes on. The ones that have spent their entire journalistic careers bashing one Vince Russo, and the fact that through the efforts of the Attitude Era, through what we call Crash TV, which TGS, you now know what Crash TV is, we got one of the biggest Hollywood stars in history of Hollywood. You can probably, when it's all said and done, put The Rock up there with Schwarzenegger, Stallone, Cruise. I'm serious. Now, it's not directly related to what he did in WWF, but that's where he became a star. And writing for him was Vince Russo, and The Rock, Dwayne Johnson, tweeted great things. I don't remember exactly what they were because I'm still like, so I couldn't believe I saw that. And that was awesome. And Rock ain't going to bullshit with that stuff. He put Vince Russo over. And so what's everybody's thoughts on this? Because I just think that a lot of people, Vince Russo will never make the WWE Hall of Fame. The way he did everything, even Ed Ferrara, they'll never get noticed because they're writers. This happens a lot in TV shows, too. The actors get all the attention, the directors, the producers, but the writers, you don't really hear who they are. So, TJS, what's your thoughts about this? Because I'm bringing it up because it's 2019. Everybody says Russo's not relevant, yet Dwayne Johnson put him over 20 years later.
Yeah, you got points there. I think that it's like you said, if Rock never was a wrestler, then I mean we probably wouldn't know who he is, because I feel like he started out as Rocky Maivia, and perhaps that's what he would be today if he never underwent the change that WWE put him through, made him The Rock, made him the charismatic superstar that he is today. And it's like you said, Virtue, he's one of the greatest actors of all time. I feel like this guy's in like every single movie. Like every movie, it's like, oh, it has The Rock.
Well, when you can get Jumanji to almost bank $1 billion gross worldwide, you know what I mean? That's insane.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's a huge star. He's like I think he was the top paid actor a year or two ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, Forbes, yeah.
Yeah, and I'm sure that.
But do you think that wrestling, where the era he was in, helped? Like if he was in 92, 93, that era, 94, 95, do you think he would have became a bigger Hollywood star? Do you think that late 90s Attitude Era against Austin, where 10 million people were watching wrestling every week, do you think that helped Rock become this big star? Or would it have happened anyway because he's talented. You know what I mean? That's a good. I don't even know the answer to that.
Yeah, I think that it definitely helped. Timing is everything, and I feel like him coming into the Attitude Era and cutting the promos, getting the catchphrases, doing the eyebrow raise, all of that just really helped solidify him as a superstar. And then I guess Hollywood saw him, and they're like, hey, I think his first movie was The Scorpion King or something like that.
Yep.
No?
Well, maybe the first main one. What was the first
Mummy
one?
Returns.
He made a cameo in The Mummy Returns briefly, and then, yes, TJS's first feature film was The Scorpion King, yes.
Yeah, and now he's been in like dozens and dozens of movies.
Oh, yeah.
You know, Vince is probably taking a lot of pride in this too. Not Russo, but McMahon. He's probably just in.
Well, Russo is definitely doing it.
Oh, yeah, but I'm sure Vince would take all the credit in the world for it.
But I mean, there's Mick Foley, Ric Flair, Shawn Michaels, Stone Cold, Rock. These people are all people that Vince wrote for, Russo, and they've all said good things about Vince Russo. I'm just saying, it was a great dynamic when Vince McMahon, the grand puppeteer, had all the pieces in play, and we watched something we'll never probably see again. He literally was fighting a losing battle, and he had the balls to change the product, which right now is bad again, but there's nobody threatening him. And I'd like to see what ends up happening this era. But TJS, what's your thoughts on this? Anything?
Oh yeah,
TJS. I was looking at Big G and I said your name because he's going to probably rattle all the Rock's movies off right now.
Yeah, I probably will. Now, so yeah, I did read the tweet that The Rock sent out to Russo saying, every time The Rock had an idea or something like that, Russo was like, yeah, let's do it, And I think he had tweeted out because it was like the 20th anniversary of the beer truck segment with Stone Cold.
Mm-hmm.
And, Russo, like when I was a kid, I didn't know who wrote all this stuff. And when I grew up later on, I found out Vince Russo wrote all this stuff. I'm like, wow,
most of it.
Okay. You had all these great segments, not because of one guy, but from, I guess, that Ed Ferrara guy, too. He worked with Russo.
Yeah. They brought him in a little bit later because he actually had television writing experience.
Yeah. And like you said, the writers don't get any credit in television shows or in the WWE, It's all the actors, the directors, producers. But the writers, they just sit back there and like, okay, they're pretty much the brains behind the operation, if you want to think about it. As far as The Rock, if it wasn't for him being in the WWE, I don't think he would be as big as an actor or an actor at all. And now look at John Cena trying to be an actor and Batista. And I think RVD was in one or two films, and Kurt Angle was in some cheap-ass horror movie. And
what
so,
about
who?
That's the Marine.
Oh, The Miz. Okay. The Miz is not an A-lister. The Rock is an A-lister. The Miz, when it comes to movies, because it's direct to DVD or Blu-ray.
But that's the brilliant of his gimmick. He says he's an A-lister. That's
I know.
I love it.
Yeah, Rock's been in plenty of movies. I mean, the Fast and the Furious franchise. He's coming out with a spin-off with that. Jumanji's having a sequel. San Andreas. The worst movie that The Rock's ever done.
Told you he'd name all the movies.
Doom. Was it Doom?
Yeah.
I think Doom was horrible. And then you had the Tooth Fairy. Oh, Lord,
I can see the comments now, though. People are going to be like, I love that movie, Walking Tall. What's that one with Sean William Scott?
The Rundown.
I like that.
That
Rundown.
was the best one, in my opinion.
That was fun because Christopher Walken was in it.
Yeah. They were all
Thank
really
you,
good.
Rock, man.
There's a good guy from Saturday Night Live, Christopher Walken.
Yes.
There you go.
Aaron, any thoughts on this without mentioning WCW 2000?
I know it's hard not to, right? I mean, I think if it wasn't for WCW and all that controversy, he probably would have a decent shot at the Hall of Fame. And who knows? Never say never. I know people think it's unlikely. I mean, he seems to be one of the most unlikely candidates for the Hall of Fame. But stranger things have happened. Ultimate Warrior went into the Hall of Fame. Bruno Sammartino went into the Hall of Fame. Now, granted, Vince Russo's career is a bit more controversial.
But that was all because of Triple H, though, wasn't it? With Ultimate Warrior and and Bruno Sammartino.
Yeah, well, maybe Triple H is a Russo fan. You never know. Maybe Triple H will say one year, let's do it. Let's change things up. I mean, it would be nice in general to see some more non-wrestlers going into the Hall of Fame.
Like Jim Johnston. You've talked about that.
Oh, yeah,
before.
for sure. Like,
I mean, their contribution. I mean, the Ultimate Warrior Award is supposed to, they've turned it into mostly giving it to the sick people or whatever, but it's supposed to be about people that have worked years for WWE or made significant contributions that weren't in front of the camera for the most part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I like this year's induction, because it feels like it at least is going in that direction of what the Ultimate Warrior actually wanted with this award.
Yeah.
I agree.
And guess what? No Celebrity Hall of Fame this year, thank God.
Oh, wow, that's true. Awesome.
Unless
they only have so many people they can put in that wing, so maybe they'll take a couple years off. But they should actually only do the Hall of Fame like every other year, Aaron, because they're running out of people,
Right. Yeah, they're too
pretty
many.
soon they'll be putting more active roster
They're
people.
literally going to pull people out of their butts next year.
I mean, think about it.
So,
this year they had to induct 3 people for a second time.
The women are finally, it's official. We don't have to guess. We don't have to wonder what if. WWE has announced that the Raw Women's Championship, and, we're going to add some stuff to that. Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch versus Ronda Rousey is headlining, going on last. First time ever for the women. I don't think it would happen if they didn't have Ronda Rousey. Ronda Rousey was the UFC darling, right? She had that run before she got beat her last 2 fights. The reason why they signed her to get that hype, and the fact now that she's the champion and the women are going on last, I don't care if people hate Ronda, with their gimmick. She can't talk on the mic, this or that. She looks sloppy when she works. The reason why the women are going on last, in my opinion, is because of Ronda Rousey. Now, Charlotte Flair just on SmackDown beat poor Asuka and won the SmackDown Women's Championship. So now there's both female champions are in this match. Ronda the Raw, and Charlotte now the SmackDown. We don't know if it's just going to stay the Raw Women's Championship. Aaron, what's your thoughts on this? It looks like they're putting everything into the mixing bowl for this main event.
As they should. Again, I don't have a problem with Charlotte being the champion. Asuka really wasn't doing much of anything. I just question, first of all, why did Asuka defeat Becky Lynch at the Royal Rumble? Just goes to show the long-term planning isn't there in WWE. I feel like this was probably a last-minute decision. Somebody said, hey, we got to make this match even bigger. It's the main event. We got to add some more to it, so we got to have Charlotte as the champion. I'd like to see the titles merged. I don't know if that's what's going to happen here. I think they should be merged, winner takes all. But I could see Becky winning the match, and then afterwards Charlotte and Becky hug or something, and then Sasha and Bayley come out with the women's tag titles, and they do like the big ending with all the women holding up the titles. I feel like that's how WrestleMania is going to end.
Or horsewomen.
Yeah, and then Ronda will come back, take a break, come back, and then they'll do that horsewomen match between the WWE and MMA horsewomen. That's what I think is going to happen. TJS, you seem like you're not sold on that idea. What do you think?
I just don't like the idea of Charlotte and Becky being friends again. After all the bad blood that they've been through, I just think that's weird, and that it's not, I don't know. I feel like instead of that, we should have the 4 horsewomen come out like later, after Ronda gets off her hiatus, and then they say they're going to take WWE over, blah, blah. And then Charlotte and Becky are forced to reunite along with Bayley and Sasha. And it's like, oh, the only match for the MMA 4 horsewomen is the WWE 4 horsewomen. Or something like that.
Right.
Yeah.
Well,
as far as...
I just want to add, back to what I was saying. I think it's going to be where Becky will win. She'll be celebrating. Sasha and Bayley will come out with their titles. And then Charlotte will be in the corner with her title. It kind of awkward. And then Bayley and Sasha will talk Charlotte into, making peace with Becky. And then all of them will hold up their titles.
I guess that makes sense. But I don't know if the titles are merging, I don't see them. But if they aren't, then I guess that makes sense because you'll have Becky on Raw after she wins the title and Charlotte on SmackDown. So so their paths really aren't going to cross. So they could just say like, "Oh, this is I'm saying goodbye to my friend" or whatever. But poor Asuka, like you guys said, she doesn't deserve this. I even said in the NoDQ group chat, like, no, Asuka's not losing. This isn't going to happen.
I know, and I was like, and then I called you, you know who?
Yeah, I'll be damned. Plans change. I don't know how to feel about this. So if the titles aren't on the line, I feel like this may have been done to shorten WrestleMania a little bit, because this had to have been a last-minute decision, because they were advertising that fatal four-way match to determine Asuka's WrestleMania challenge between Sonya Deville, Mandy Rose, Naomi, and
doesn't matter at this point.
It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter at this point. Yeah, it's
Carmella.
Both titles. They're going to have that graphic up soon, and you're going to see both titles on there. I mean, that's what it's all about.
Yeah, I figure they'll wait until Raw to announce that it's a unification match or whatever. They wouldn't announce, or they'll do it on Twitter or something. I don't know. So, what does this mean for Asuka at WrestleMania? What do you guys think? Catering?
Yeah.
Not on the card. I mean, Big G. Why do I just have this more so now than before SmackDown aired and this happened and Charlotte won? Why am I starting to envision, and this isn't my prediction yet because we still have time to do those, Ronda holding both of those titles up at the end of WrestleMania? I don't know. But what's your thoughts on this? So because of the way I think. And
I know.
Go for it.
Well, I was on the way home driving, having SmackDown in the background, and all of a sudden I hear, this match is for the SmackDown Women's Championship. I'm like, what? So that kind of threw me off a little bit. And then I figured Asuka was going to retain because, I thought they were going to have Asuka versus one of those 4 females at WrestleMania. But I like TJS's idea because he said that they're going to try to cut down WrestleMania, which I think would be fantastic. But I don't think they're going to unify the titles at WrestleMania.
Clarify, cut down WrestleMania. 17 matches to 15 matches? I mean, come on. Is that really cutting down anything?
Well, if it's...
They're just taking...
If it's 17 to 15, it's a little bit. It's a chunk. It's a sliver. Anyways, I like Aaron's idea, at the end, all 4 horsewomen holding up their respective titles. I think they had Charlotte win the SmackDown Women's Championship just to get momentum back on her side, since Becky got the momentum on Raw last night. And I don't know what's going to happen on Raw next week with this whole 6-woman tag team match. If one of them attacks each other or something like that, then they're kicked out of the match. So I want to see how that plays out. And I'm sure after the match they'll have a big old brawl, and then you'll have security come out and pull them apart, and we, the crowd, are gonna chant, "Let them fight." And
Did you make it home okay? I know you said you had SmackDown on. Did you fall asleep behind the wheel or anything?
No.
That would have been driving home during Raw, right? Everybody hates Raw, it seems like, but the consensus is people like SmackDown more.
Right.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's move to the main event. The women are getting it at WrestleMania, so we're going to go back to Aaron, you kind of brought this topic up. I like this one.
Okay.
So Seth Rollins is challenging Brock Lesnar for the Universal Champion. Is this going to be the feel-good? Is he going to win it? Stay tuned for all of our predictions. But, say after WrestleMania, or say, where does this leave Roman Reigns? And I wrote it out this way. Is Roman lurking and ready to take back his spot from Seth after Mania if Seth does beat Brock? Because I really think, how long can they go how long can Vince McMahon go without having his man, the guy, whatever, the big dog, at the number 1 spot? So TJS, is Roman lurking? I know he's feuding with McIntyre right now, which is weird. Organic heel. Well, I don't know if it's organic, but heel heat and babyface heat, just like a feud is supposed to go. Fans are playing along. I like it. What's your take on after Mania?
Man, I think that Roman is lurking. I think the big dog's gonna hunt. Seriously though, I'm not sure if Roman's going to be in the mid card or not. Like, if Roman beats Seth for the title, I think that would be weird because Seth has been in the mid card for so long. He was the Intercontinental Champion forever. He had the feud with Dolph. They had like 50 matches. I expect Roman to not be Universal Champion for at least like maybe SummerSlam, I think, is when he'll have a match with Seth. But I think they'll try to give Seth like a little decent reign. Because I just don't think. Oh, Aaron, you still think Lesnar's retaining?
Well, I'm going to throw a curveball in this. Do you think the superstar shakeup that they usually have after Mania could affect where the WWE title lands?
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. Now that you said that,
you got to think that though, you know.
Yeah, SmackDown is going to Fox. Roman Reigns, SmackDown, top guy, Fox. I mean, it just makes sense to me. It just seems natural. And, of course, Seth is going to get shafted. He's going to be the secondary champion despite him being such a workhorse and everything. Not that Roman hasn't been, but I just feel like it's Seth's time to shine. And he's just going to get pushed to the side again, which really sucks. But that's about all I have to say about it. I think Roman's going to end up on SmackDown. And Seth will have his little Raw reign. Aaron?
Well, I do not think Seth is winning the title at WrestleMania. I think Brock Lesnar is going to retain. I'm sticking with my prediction.
I'm rubbing off on Aaron. I like it.
It's hard to bet against Brock, especially when the money's being thrown at him. Saudi Arabia likes Brock. I'm sure they're going to want him for more shows. I think Brock's going to win. And I could see Roman Reigns going to SmackDown Live, but who knows what's going on with the brand extension at this point. Who knows if it's even going to be a thing after WrestleMania. Apparently there is a superstar shakeup scheduled, so we'll see. But one would think if WWE's really taking the Fox move seriously that Roman Reigns will go over to SmackDown, and Raw will probably get a lot of big stars from SmackDown anyways. Although in recent years it doesn't feel like SmackDown has gotten gutted quite as badly as it used to. Reigns I could see being on SmackDown, and as far as who feuds with Brock after WrestleMania, I have no idea. I could see Rollins just feuding with McIntyre after WrestleMania, no title on the line, and Brock will feud with maybe Strowman. Maybe Strowman will rebound after WrestleMania.
If Kofi happens to get the WWE title, what better way to lose it than to Roman Reigns? Oh, man, I would be so happy. I had to throw that in there.
Well, Reigns will probably feud with somebody like Joe or Randy Orton or something like that for a while and then eventually get back in the title picture.
Big G.
Yes, Big G. Well, first of all, screw Brock Lesnar and his goofy haircut and his crooked-ass teeth.
Glasses off.
Yes, glasses off. No. Anyways, as far as Seth Rollins, I think he is going to beat Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania and have the title for, I don't want to say too long, possibly up until SummerSlam and then feud with somebody else. And like you guys said, I think once SmackDown goes to Fox in October, I think Reigns is going to go over there too because I need the big dog over there. And other than that, not much else to say.
You know what I think is really funny is that you guys remember when Finn Balor had to relinquish the Universal title over his shoulder injury, and then when he came back, everyone was like, when's Finn getting his rematch? But no one's done that for Reigns, which I think is so hypocritical on the fans' part.
Well, they don't get rematches anymore. The rematch clause is no longer in existence.
But
when I was a kid, I thought the titles meant a lot. Now that I'm older, I don't care. As long as you're getting featured. As long as you're getting featured on TV, well,
they are.
The titles are a prop. Yeah.
I still think it's hypocritical of the fans, too. Because Reigns was fighting for his life. Finn had a shoulder injury. And they were like, oh, give Finn his rematch, Vince. I haven't seen a single person advocate for Reigns at his rematch. So.
Well, you got to understand what WWE's doing. They're not throwing him right back up there because they know it'll be counterproductive and he'll probably get booed because they're like, oh, God, Roman's back and he's right back where he was. Boo.
They want Roman to be, vulnerable. You know, he's coming back to leukemia.
I like that.
You know,
keeps the fans kind of behind him a little bit because he's technically not taking their darling spot. You know what I mean?
Because like you said, Virtue, if they put him back right away, you know, everything that he has done since he came back from his leukemia, you know,
well,
people are gonna turn. They'll turn on him in a heartbeat. And I don't think Vince wants that. So I think Vince is doing everything possible to keep Roman, you know, upper mid card right now against McIntyre. He'll feud against somebody else during SummerSlam. And then, like I said,
it's kind of like, but I think of SummerSlam 90 when Warrior was the champ and defended against Rude in the cage. Hogan didn't have a title. He was feuding against Earthquake, but it was still kind of a big deal. That's kind of how I feel they're going to do Roman Reigns the rest of this year, you know, just kind of have him in those non-title matches, but big, you know, feuds, and hopefully, like Hogan, the people stay behind Roman compared to how it was last time.
The way that they're booking McIntyre is just crazy. Like, he's booked really strongly. Like, I know who's going to win the match, but I'm at least intrigued a little bit.
Well, don't say that. The last 4 WrestleManias that Roman headlined and went on last, his booking is 2-2.
Yeah.
The last 4 Manias, he's won 2 matches, he's lost 2 matches.
I'm trying to think.
Seth Rollins cashed in, okay?
Yeah.
Then he beat Triple H, he beat Undertaker, then he lost to Brock. So don't guarantee, because it's Roman, he's going over.
Yeah.
Right? Exactly.
Also, did you guys notice that on Raw they were chanting Roman when McIntyre was cutting his promo?
It feels like WWE. That's how they always wanted the fans to react, and they're actually for once doing it, booing the heel, cheering the baby. Like, that's why I'm kind of intrigued to see how this plays out at MetLife Stadium. I didn't think a couple months ago I was going to see Roman, and now he's back. You know,
it's going to make your day.
It will. Fight forever.
This match is going to be a dark horse for match of the night, I think. So seriously, I think it could be really good.
So there you have it, NoDQ Galaxy. Another fantastic NoDQ review by the Elite team. I'm ready for bed. So let's go around and do our shout-outs. Big G, I'll start with you.
Yes. NoDQ.com/Big G takes you to my Twitter page. NoDQ_Big G on Instagram. Jeff Feltz on Facebook. NoDQ.com/shirts. I'm wearing my Big G shirt. Richie's got his OG Virtues Raid upside down shirt. NoDQ.com Galaxy. Everybody's name's on there. TJS is wearing something Island, Alabama. Who cares about what TJS is wearing?
But he lives in Arkansas.
Yeah. And that's pretty much it for the Big G. TJS, take it away.
NoDQ.com/TJS. They'll take you to my Facebook profile. Interact with me there if you want. Message me. We can talk about some wrestling. Twitter at NoDQ_TJS. That's my Twitter page, of course. And you can follow me there. I tweet sometimes. I do live tweets, things of that nature. And I believe that Aaron is still selling NoDQ pens, correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. Big G has one right there for you guys. Great demonstration. They are 3 for 5 and 5 for 10. So hit Aaron up at, not at, but NoDQMISC@gmail.com. And finally, April 4th, Thursday, WrestleMania week, big wrestling trivia challenge match, Iron Man match, Greg Cherry versus Jeff Meacham. You guys don't want to miss it. 60 minutes. I'm looking forward to it. It's probably going to be the highlight of WrestleMania weekend.
$150 on the line, people.
Yeah, and I believe that's a
clarify that, Big G.
How do you
people
mean?
Understand? You said 150 on the line. People don't know what that means.
Well, you're putting $100 on the line to the winner, correct?
Well, I'm not putting it on the line. It's already won by whoever.
Oh
wins
yeah,
it.
okay, whatever.
Guaranteed.
And I decided to put $50 to the winner as well. So,
TJS, what are you putting up?
I'll give him this roll of toilet paper.
All right, well,
ouch.
I'm sure Jeff and Greg could use some toilet paper. All right, guys, so make sure you stay tuned to NoDQ.com this weekend, and next week it's going to be crazy. We got NXT predictions coming up, WrestleMania predictions. Everyone's going to have their predictions. It's going to be a fun week, and, of course, the trivia match. stay tuned for all that. And that's all I got. Virtue, let's go and wrap this bad boy up.
To make it easy, just follow me on Twitter at NoDQ_Virtue, and you will see everything there. So that's it. For Aaron Rift, for TJS, for Big G, I'm Virtue. See you next time.